Hey VC, this is Harvey of Spin the Black Circle, and welcome to Friday Night Vinyl, albeit, and I'm sorry, one day late. This is a Saturday afternoon, as John Lennon once said, or to paraphrase John Lennon, life got in the way, life gets in the way. So yesterday, after quite a busy week at work, my good lady, my wife and I decided to go to our favourite restaurant for a nice Indian curry in sunny Sutton Coldfield in the West Midlands in the UK. So here I am on a Saturday instead. But we have some things to talk about. I want to talk primarily about Roberta Flack and the music of Roberta Flack, who sadly passed away. Sadly passed away this week. And I'll move on to talk about a few late February records that I've bought. So Roberta Flack, interesting actually. I think she is hugely underrated as an artist. I think part of that is the mix of styles. She is a solo artist, and especially her first few albums, there's a massive gospel soul influence. But she didn't limit herself to that idiom, to that genre, and took in pop and jazz and folk. And I think that some of the critics just got a bit sniffy about her work. Maybe posthumously, she'll be better regarded, which tends to happen. Artists can get canonized after they die, but certainly during her life as an artist, when she was a big pop stroke soul R&B artist, I don't think she got the credit she deserved. And I kind of organically started to buy her records, which is a good sign over a number of years. I'm going to go through what I'd regard as one of the really great bodies of female Black American music as her first few LPs, starting with First Take, her debut on Atlantic Records. Absolutely fantastic. So Roberta Flack isn't necessarily about songwriting; it's about her voice, arrangements, and the exemplary song choices, but her delivery above all else. And in this LP, it's a great place to start actually. This 1969 debut Roberta Flack LP, compared to What by Gene McDaniels, which has been covered many times, is on here. Two Donny Hathaway songs, and we'll come back to the influence and impact that Donny Hathaway had on Roberta Flack later. And one of the key tunes on this is a version of Ewan McCall's The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Again, a song covered many times by many artists, but possibly even one of the, if not the definitive version of that song for me. So excellent place to start. Probably her most gospel tinged record is First Take from 1969 on Atlantic Records. So, fresh out of the box, still very young, amazing vocals, and as you can see, a pianist too. But yeah, an excellent place to start to get your first taste of how good her music truly was. And then the follow-up chapter 2 is in a similar vein actually. Early 70s production values certainly go up on this. Again, Donny Hathaway, a song on here, another Eugene McDaniel song, and Reverend Lee, which is probably the key track on here, but pretty much in line with the style of the debut LP. And that gospel tinged flavour to it was chapter 2. Then it started again. I think this is probably her most R&B LP, almost funky, was Quiet Fire. Third LP, again on Atlantic Records. As you see from that amazing Afro hairstyle, what you're going to get from this LP. Absolutely tremendous. Go Up Moses is on here. Absolutely tremendous soul gospel tune. Cover of Bridge Over Troubled Water, amazing song. And yeah, Jimmy Webb song on here as well, See You Then. So yeah, probably the funkiest and the most soul and R&B, traditional soul and R&B of the Roberta Flack LPs, but some really out there stuff in terms of the arrangements here, and her ability to arrange songs I'll come back to later. She wasn't just walking into a studio and being told what to do by a producer. I'll come back to that a little later. Then probably the album, certainly with our most famous track on it, is Killing Me Softly, album number 4. I mean, this is just a lovely thing on vinyl because it's got this kind of piano lid cover to it, as you can see. But yeah, really good LP. It's getting more towards, on this LP, a folkier sort of sound, less R&B. Yeah, I mean, you've got a cover of River on here and Suzanne. She arranges all of the tracks on here, and that starts to come through her ability as an arranger on Killing Me Softly. Obviously, the title track most famously covered by the Fugees, covered well, but you know, this is the original and definitive on this LP version of that track. And yeah, her arrangements on this are something else. Her ability as an arranger starts to come through, and even more so on what I regard as this next LP. For me, the definitive Roberta Flack LP, Feel Like Making Love. I think it's from 1977, 78, I want to say. Absolutely tremendous. All tracks arranged by her, even though she didn't do much of the writing. The title track was a massive hit. But the key track is a Stevie Wonder song, actually, I Can See the Sun, in late December, which is almost 10 minutes long, on Feel Like Making Love. This for me is you know, there's definitely some R&B and gospel in there, but it's probably her most folk LP. The arrangements are just out of this world. It's a lush, luxurious LP to listen to. Absolutely beautiful. D'Angelo covered the title track, but it's a famous track in its own right, and one of her big hits. I'll just cover two more of her LPs, two that she did with Donny Hathaway. This is the lesser of the two. It's just named Roberta Flack featuring Donny Hathaway. But their voices together are tremendous on this. It's just a bit lightweight, the material on this particular one, given how amazing both of their voices are. I would say the collaboration to get the both of is the one that's simply called Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway. The one that features Where Is the Love, quite a big hit, and just they end up playing how their voices go together on this. Absolutely tremendous, particularly on that track Where Is the Love. But this is a really good LP. You can pick this up for relatively little. Let's see what happens now, though, given that she's just passed away. We might start to see prices rise. So there's a couple of omissions from her 70s or late 70s stuff that I still need to pick up, one or two albums. But I've just showed you the cream of what I'd regard as the cream of Roberta Flack. She kind of tailed off in the 80s in the same way that many 60s, 70s soul artists did. For example, Stevie Wonder, not as strong. But yeah, she had a great career, and I think that 70s album in particular, it actually does challenge that run of albums that everyone regards as the pinnacle by Stevie Wonder, and challenges the great Marvin Gaye triumvirate of LPs too. So yeah, it may be time to go, and it is time to go and sit back and reassess what a great artist Roberta Flack was, and the breadth of her work. And I would say the key is how she was as an arranger. I'm going to stick with. I'm going to go on to some LPs I've recently bought, but stick with a soul theme for the next couple. This is a great story, actually, in terms of what's great about buying records and discovery, because I'd read great things about this Gloria Scott LP. What am I going to do? And I featured that recently in I bought it from Soul Brother Records in London. You know, seen this on my recent London Hall episode. If you've checked it out, if you haven't, just go back. It's the London Hall episode where I actually show what I bought from that London tour. But then I was in my local record store recently, Secatron Records, and lo and behold, on the shelf was the follow-up to this Barry White produced debut. This is 1974. 48 years later, she released this LP, So Wonderful. And how fantastic that what they've done, this is on Acid Jazz Records, is kind of replicated, well, certainly the same outfit, similar outfit with the green top she was wearing and the green typeface from that debut. So some 48 years later, Gloria Scott, you know, having had a family and moved on from the music industry to follow up with this LP, So Wonderful. And I was in tears, actually, because she's lost none of what made this LP so great. Yes, her voice is more mature. She's probably got less ability to hit certain notes in a range, but you can hear the woman on this coming through 48 years later, loud and clear, and it's absolutely tremendous. It's a very sympathetic LP too. It's well, if you look and you'll see that that on the credits it's live musicians. It's sensitively produced, and it's retro while still sounding like it was recorded, in this decade. So yeah, just a wonderful thing to have these kind of 48 years apart by the same artist. She's still alive, by the way. But yeah, it's something else to have those two Gloria Scott LPs. And I was in tears listening to the follow-up. Tears of a different sort. Tears of happiness when I found this LP or listened to this LP. I'm a huge James Brown fan, and I'll definitely feature again in some of these uploads. And I've just ordered a Grail of a James Brown LP on Discogs, which as soon as I've got it, I'll do a feature on. But the interesting thing, and here's the thing about vinyl, folks. I've had a number of James Brown compilations on CD years ago, when vinyl was confined to the loft, and everyone was buying CDs. And I remember those, especially that 60s James Brown output, those great tunes sounding really tinny, which I always just assumed it was a facet of King Records, and just that the production values or how it was recorded wasn't that great. But then I found this LP, 30 Golden Hits. It's got an awful cover, but this is Polydor Records from 1978, so therefore has no choice other than to be analog. And I read on Discogs before I bought it, everybody just glowing about how analog and fantastic this sounds, and I could not believe it. To double LP when I played this compilation, all analog compilation, in the quality and of the musicianship, and obviously his vocals and the production coming through on tracks like Please Please and Think, and Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. They actually aren't the tinny kind of thin sound that I thought had been recorded on CD. The massive, vibrant, grunting funk tunes. I mean, his 70s outputs always sounded like that. If you listen to his 70s work, which features towards the end of this compilation, but his 60s output, wow, hearing it in this analog format, Mother Popcorn, for example, just unbelievable. Just springs out of the speakers. So genuinely blown away on something that I thought was down to, just not very high standards of the equipment, I guess, in the 60s, recording some of these late 50s and then 60s of those early James Brown sides, but none of the sort. These are just funk masterpieces from the 60s. Massive horn sections. So yeah, if you see this, it is well regarded on Discogs. I paid £15 for it. Not that hard to get. This is a European EU pressing. I don't know what the US one sounds like. I don't know if they use the same stamps. But it's all from the Polydor archives on all analog, and it absolutely screams out of the speaker. And if you've only heard James Brown, those early sides on CD, or streamed them, then this will just it'll knock you for six. So that was great. And then just today, I was at my favourite record store in the world this morning. Popped in and picked up a couple of LPs. The first is I asked Pete the owner to play this first, actually, and I'm still not sure, but there was something about it for £12 that I thought I am gonna buy it, even though I was it sounds okay, but there was something going on, and that's it's a well regarded LP. It's by Terry Riley, and it's called Rainbow in Curved Air from 1969. So it's a well-regarded kind of psych jazz LP, I think is how I'd describe it. Very keyboard orientated, but there was just something there. It was halfway through the first 15, 16-minute track, and I thought, I'm not sure I love it, but there's something that makes me want to buy it. So let's see. I'll come back on this and see, was I right to get a hold of this this Terry Riley LP? Really nice. It's in great condition considering it's a 1969 album. It's on a 1i CBS label. Cleaned it up on my Project VCS. So let's spin that later. Light a candle and see if I can get into that. And the other one I picked up at Segatron today is by 10,000 Maniacs. Now, I had it's a bit of a checkered thing with 10,000 Maniacs, because I remember buying on CD Tiger Lily by Natalie Merchant from the 90s, and it was really well regarded, and it bored me to tears, that LP. It was so, her voice is obviously good, she's obviously a good songwriter, but it was so low key. It was just like the equivalent of sitting in the most boring coffee shop in the world. So I've kind of ignored 10,000 Maniacs, her former band, for that reason. I just assumed they were late. But actually, their material with her and a band is much more vibrant. So last year, one of the LPs I bought, just secondhand for a few pounds, was In My Tribe, which is an absolutely amazing 10,000 Maniacs album. Blew me away totally made me reassess what I thought of Natalie Merchant as an artist too. So I saw this today for the princely sum of £8 in Psychotron, Blind Man's Zoo, which is a follow-up to In My Tribe, and it's great. It's again produced by Peter Asher, who produced In My Tribe, and it's really good. So I'm now reassessing entirely 10,000 Maniacs as a band and Natalie Merchant. That MTV Unplugged album, which is famous, my challenge with that on vinyl is the price of it. It's something crazy like £50, and there's no need for it to be that price. I think it's a single album as well, so I just don't get why that price tag's been allotted to that MTV Unplugged LP. Then the final LP, there's a before I shut up, is an interesting story about this. So even after, I must have heard 10,000 albums in my lifetime. However many albums I've listened to in my lifetime, thousands anyway. I'm now 53, and I don't seem to learn that you can't judge an LP off a first listen. So I'm in this music group that I'm the admin for on Facebook, and this chap's LP, brand new LP, came out just last week, and I listened to it once. And I did a review of it in the music group, and I slagged it off to high heaven how it was it was a shallow LP and didn't make good on its early promise. And lo and behold, on my second, third, and fourth stream of it, I was completely wrong, and I had to say it in my music group. This is an example of what not to do with new music, because now I'm in the completely opposite place, because People Watching by Sam Fender, I think it's a tremendous LP. I initially thought I'll never listen to this again, but it's excellent. So Sam Fender, UK VC members will know who he is. Big deal in the UK. This is his third LP. In the US, I think he's still building a following, but essentially think of him as a North of England Bruce Springsteen. It's that sort of blue collar, working class vibe, amazing storytelling in lyrics. And this is actually co-produced, this third LP, by the chap, I think, from War on Drugs, and it shows as well. And it's just, there's a lot of substance here to the songwriting, and as well as being real earworm catchy stuff. Yeah, People Watching by Sam Fender, one of the LPs of the year so far for me, is this album, having initially thought that it was pretty average to worthless. So that's a solitary lesson again at the age of 53, not to judge LPs either way by the very first listen. So there you go then. So one day late, hopefully I'll be back on time next Friday. I'll almost certainly do a video tomorrow on Sunday to show you a few more things. And I'll be back with some sort of topical rant next Friday. Meantime, please like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for bearing with me in a day late. And sorry if anybody was waiting with bated breath last night for Friday Night Vinyl. But happy Saturday is what I'll say. And peace. Bye.